Welcome to Mookie Motors, home of the Goblin Science Faction. So I will briefly explain what all that means. So Mookie Motors is basically our side work business that we use so that we can fix customers' cars for decent prices, as opposed to taking it to a shop and having a $140 to $200 labor rate. So that's the official name for our side work. Goblin Science Faction is our crew, dude. And eventually both will become a brand. But anyway, let's talk about what we're into today. I'll start off by saying, if you have seen my toolbox tour videos, this is my roll cart, which is here. It was actually here in the video, but it is here since I got laid off from my technician job, and so it's here making money in my friend's garage instead. And right now, we're using it for a very special project. So, the LS400 has been very good to me for the past year or so, and I think it's about time it got a timing belt, because, well, it desperately needs one. Not to mention, this car has 250,000 miles on it, which means the next timing belt interval, it will be at 310,000 miles.
Wow.
Which is pretty epic. I would really like a car with 300K. I think that would feel pretty awesome. So first of all, I will just say that I've made a couple decisions. First and foremost, I love the LS400, and I'm going to keep it for as long as I possibly can. I have a lot of, I guess, PTSD from my S10, where I dumped all of this money in it, and it just never seemed like it didn't have 27 problems at one time, no matter what I would do to it. And I put so much time into it, it was actually frustrating because it took so much of my free time away, and I really don't want this to be the same thing. But this is way more reliable than a cheap Chevy truck. I've decided that I'm going to put a few things on it, and I already have. So one thing that's going to be a big deal is I put tires on it. They were relatively cheap tires, Aspen-GTAS, nothing special, just some all-season tires, 85 bucks a piece. I didn't even mount and balance them myself, I just had a shop do it. I hate mounting and balancing tires, so I just paid someone to do it. If you have seen my previous LS400 videos, one of my main concerns was those rear upper control arms and the ball joints that are attached to them. God damn, that's actually kind of a lot, so strange enough as it is, it's also impossible to find those parts. Brand new Lexus or any other person who distributes it wants anywhere from $500 to $900 a piece, which is ludicrous, not spending that kind of money on this car. However, my friend told me about a place called car-part.com. There will be a link in the description for it. However, it's basically a used part locator, and it, I believe, works all across America, and it will source parts locally. I'm not really sure how the system works. However, for me, I just called up, told them what part I need. It'll tell you what condition it's in, and then boom, I bought it. I found a place locally, and guess what? We did it, baby. We did it. So this thing has good ball joints. I don't feel any play, even when I grab them with vice grips and kind of pull on it. No, I didn't damage the threads. But anyway, these bushings are a little looser than I would like them to be. There is a company called Problem Solving Bushings, PSB, and they make a kit for all bushings on this car. And I'm debating either getting the whole kit or finding the individual sets of bushings that I need. But anyway, that's going on this control arm, and we have the ball joint, so that rear clunk will be gone. I paid $110 for the pair, which is a lot cheaper than what Lexus would have reamed me for. Alright, so I actually got started on the timing belt and I forgot my camera yesterday, but anyway, taking all of this apart, there's a few issues that I'm going to address while I'm in here. Number one, I'm going to do spark plugs, wires, a tune-up, so we're going to do rotors, distributor caps, spark plug wires, spark plugs, and then valve cover gaskets. So one of the worst leaks on this car is the valve cover gaskets. Additionally, the crank seal is another one of the biggest leaks, so I'm going to take care of both of those, and hopefully it's not going to have any leaks when we're done. So to have a car with 250,000 miles on and no leaks would be really incredible in my book. Now you can see that my timing belt is cracked all over the place, so it's definitely due. This thing was actually probably about to crack relatively soon. Or snap, I should say. Okay, so through Mookie Motors, we have an account set up at O'Reilly's, so that's where I got all of my parts from. Hopefully they're going to be good enough quality, but we have my timing belt, we have the distributor caps, water pump gaskets, thermostat, which I actually need a gasket for, spark plug wires, spark plugs. I also scored one of these throttle position sensors. I got both of them for track and the regular throttle position sensor from the junkyard, and I'm going to program them, and hopefully that will take care of my track light. The track code is for both of the sensors saying a problem, so I'm just going to throw the sensors on and see if that is the problem. If not, it's going to be a wiring issue and it's going to be absolutely horrible to track down. But I'm pretty sure these sensors fail a lot. Plus, for $11.78, it's worth a guess. Now, this radiator is cleaned up to how it was. I'll have a picture of how it was before.
No, God! No, God, please!
But I would say about 75% of this thing was clogged and blocked, obstructed. I have no idea how it was transferring heat away from the coolant. I'm going to be expecting a lot more airflow through the front of the car after that. One thing I didn't get a chance to talk about was the fact that my harmonic dampener actually split. Harmonic balancer, damper, crank pulley, whatever you want to call it. It's actually fairly common on Lexuses. So these are my friend Dante's engines. One of them is for his Lexus IS. And so this is just an example because the same thing happened to him, but this little rubber, I'm assuming that's what's actually responsible for some of the dampening, just over time splits. I'm sure oil getting onto it helps it die. But yeah, so this part completely separates and pink, off goes the actual pulley. And yeah, that's what happened to me. So I managed to get a new one. No, it's not OEM, and it's been fine so far. But after that, I started hearing another noise. If you recall earlier, my idler seized on me. That was the first thing that went wrong with this car. And this is now making noise, and I'm about to remove it and show you why. Wow, alright, this is actually going to be a pain in the butt. I think I might have to fully remove the alternator. Ugh. Alright, I just got the tensioner off. As you can see here, it looks like it was rubbing. See where that shiny metal is? So, I'm not really sure if that is the case, but if you spin this, you're probably not going to be able to hear it, but you know, it's pretty smooth, but it's a lot more noisy than I would like it. This one's actually silent. This is the new one. You can't even hear that roll. Alright, here we are a little bit later. I got this thermostat neck out, which was a super pain in the butt. Ton of sealant right there. I would say that based on the way that sealant looks, it's pretty evident that this thing has had a timing belt done before. I mean, not the biggest shocker in the world. I removed the whole ignition system as one. So here it is with these little clips. The spark plug wire is still attached to the distributor. I'm going to do this the lazy way, and I'm going to build the whole ignition system outside the car and slip it in just the way I just took it out. Hopefully that'll work.